Hi everybody, welcome back to our daily clues by Sam. It is Tuesday, the last day of June, and we have another easy one today. Let's see how actually easy this is. Depending on how short this is, maybe I'll play one of the community puzzles, but I can't make any promises. If you're new here, Clues by Sam is a daily puzzle, and in it there are 20 people on a board, and each of those people is either a criminal or an innocent, and they might give you clues to help you figure out them or other people, and there's no guessing involved. The criminals don't lie, and it's free to play, so if you want to play along, the link is in the description. I'm gonna start mine, and I do explain my logic. Sometimes I do make mistakes, but I hope it's all part of the process and it can help you also see how everybody has those types of mistakes. Let's start today. We have Ellie telling us that exactly one instant above Uma is neighboring Tina. Okay, so there's two people above Uma. Actually, there's one people above Uma who neighbors Tina, and that person has to be an instant, in this case Pip. And we don't need Ellie's clue anymore because it doesn't tell us about any other person, so we click it. Pip says that both criminals in his row are connected, so that means that Linda has to be one of those criminals, right? Because in Pip's row there's 3 people left and 2 criminals. Linda is the only one who's connected to any other people, so Linda has to be one of those criminals. And either Josh or Murphy are gonna be the second criminal, so we tag them with the same color. And we click on Pip's clue because the tags are telling us everything we need to know. Linda now says that exactly one farmer has an instant directly to the right of them, so where are all the farmers? When I double click the clue like that, it highlights people who are farmers because it's mentioned in the clue. And I can only see Uma and Brittany. Uma doesn't have anybody to her left, to her right. Good thing I know what I'm talking about, even though I'm saying the wrong direction. Uma doesn't have anybody to her right, so it couldn't be her that Linda's talking about. It has to be Brittany. So that means that Cher is an innocent. And Linda doesn't tell us anything new, but Cher does. Only one of the 3 criminals neighboring Murphy is below Linda. So same as happened with Uma and Tina here. Rob is the only person neighboring Murphy who is below Linda. So Rob has to be a criminal. And we also get from that clue that there's 3 criminals total neighboring Murphy, and we know about 2 of them so far, so Linda and Rob. There's only one more criminal neighboring Murphy. Rob now says that all incidents in row 2 are connected. So, let's consider the possibility of Murphy having their last criminal being here in row 2. If that were the case, could that criminal be Henry? No, it couldn't. Why? Because that will make both Gary and Isaac innocents, since Murphy has only one more criminal neighbor, so Henry, being a criminal, would force everybody else in neighbors Murphy to be an innocent. And now we have 2 innocents in row 2 who are not connected. But Rob's telling us that they have to be connected, so Henry has to be an innocent. It doesn't matter if either Gary or Isaac are a criminal neighboring Murphy. But if Gary happens to be a criminal, we know that Franco is going to have to be a criminal as well. We just don't know if he is yet. Now, Henry says there's at least one innocent to the left of him. And we know that that innocent has to be Gary in this case, because like I said, if Gary is the criminal that forces Franco to be a criminal as well, so that there isn't a second innocent in row 2 disconnected from the first one. So Gary has to be the at least one instant that is to the left of Henry. Now, we still don't know if Franco is an instant or not, because at least means at least one, it could be 2. Gary says that Brittany is one of 13 instants on the edges, so Brittany is an instant, and we know there's 14 people on the edges. So only one criminal is on the edge. We gotta keep that in mind. Now we don't need Rob's clue anymore, so we can dismiss it. And we can dismiss Henry's clue because it doesn't actually tell us anything. Brittany says there are exactly 3 instances in column B, and so far we have 2. We need the third one, and there's only one person left, Wally. So Wally has to be an instance, and give us a new clue. There are as many criminal builders as there are criminal singers. So we have 3 builders total on the whole board, and all of them are incense, so that means that we have to have 3. We don't have to have 3 incense singers. We have to have 0 criminal singers, because we're talking about criminals here, not incense. So every singer there is going to be an incense as well. And is this all? Yeah, I don't see any other singers. So we don't need Wally School anymore. Savy says that Franco and Rob have only one incense neighbor in common. So Franco and Rob have 2 neighbors in common. One of them is already a criminal, so the other one has to be an incense in this case. So they have one incense in common. And that makes Murphy a criminal because they were obsessed with Josh. Now we don't need Savy's School anymore because it told us only about these 2. Josh says that 2 people in a corner have an incense directly above them. And like we know, there's 4 corners and 2 of those don't have anybody above them. So Alicia and Ellie don't have anybody above them, which makes Vera and Zara have to be the 2 people that have incense above them. So Kita and Uma are both incense, and we don't need Josh's clue anymore. Uma now says that only one incense judge has an incense directly to the right of them. Okay, there's 2 judges total that I see. The thing is, one of those judges is not an innocent, and we have to look for an innocent judge to have an incense to the right of them. And that innocent judge has to be Vera, otherwise we wouldn't have any innocent judges. So Vera has to be an innocent, and she already has an innocent to her right, so we don't need Uma's clue anymore. Now Vera says there are more criminals in row 2 than row 5. So we're talking about criminals. We know that the most criminals there could be in row 2 is 1. First, because both of the people left in row 2 are on the edges, and we know there's only one criminal on the edge. But also because there's only one person left in row 2. Sorry, in row 5. And if that person were to be a criminal, beyond having the last criminal on the edge that we could have, we would have to have 2 criminals in row 2. And that will make even more criminals on the edge than we should have already gone above. So we know that Zara is an incense because of that, because the only number that's less than 1 is 0. So Zara is an incense, so we have 0 criminals in row 5. And since we know that there's one criminal here on the edge who's either going to be Franco or Isaac, we know that Alicia is definitely not a criminal, right? So she's an incense as well. And now Sarah says that column B is the only column with exactly 2 criminals. So we couldn't have Murphy have a second criminal here in column C, a third criminal here in column C, because that would make column C have 2 criminals as well. So even though Murphy needs one more criminal, it couldn't be Tina. That would make 2 columns with 2 criminals. So Isaac has to be the criminal in row 2, which makes Franco an innocent, and Tina an innocent as well. And we are done the puzzle, so that was really nice. Very easy. But it seems not as easy as usually we consider an easy one. And I think it's because a lot of the clues were kind of different. These 2 were different. Tina and Uma, and is it Linda and Murphy? It was a new type of clue. So I do understand that the puzzle is easily solvable if you are familiar with the clues, or if you're quick to get a new type of clue. But you gotta be really attentive when a new type of clue shows up, that you really interpret it in the right way. Or sometimes, remember when there was a clue that was talking about people not neighboring somebody who were opposites? And that's a a trick. Sorry, I dropped something here. But that's sort of a trick clue where the clue is inciting you to look somewhere and you gotta really pay attention to what's written to know that you gotta look elsewhere. It does happen a lot in harder puzzles where the situation is mentioning maybe a total of people or two people having something in common and you gotta cross reference all the possibilities. And it used to be more rare, I think, in easier puzzles, but it's becoming something that Sam is experimenting with, and I'm loving it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll leave you here for today. And see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. So, bye bye.